Hey guys, welcome to the Field of 68 YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and you'll get more college basketball content just like this. Gentlemen, Michigan has now lost 10 of their last 13 games after starting out the season 3-0. After winning at Madison Square Garden to beat Rick Pitino and St. John's, Juwan Howard has run this thing into the ground. In the last 4 games, this is what I want to get to. Michigan has been outscored in the second half by an average of 12.3 points. They were outscored 43-24 in the second half tonight in a loss to Maryland. They were outscored 52-36 in a loss to Penn State. They were outscored 40-34 in a loss to Minnesota, and they were outscored 47-39 at home in a loss to McNeal State. What is going on here, RC? We've seen Juwan Howard sub out and have Phil Martelli step in and be the head coach for a game. We've seen Doug McDaniel now get suspended for all of the road games that they are going to be playing for the foreseeable future. What's happening here, man? What is going on with Michigan basketball?
Those are two things that I'd say I probably never heard or seen. And we were on the other night when Juwan let Martelli coach. I thought that there might have been something wrong. Maybe there was a setback in his recovery or something like that. Was what my original thought was. Is why I didn't say much about it or think much of it. The little Dougie's, the road suspension like that, I don't get. That I've never heard that before, where you can't travel on the road. I mean, and then but he gets to play at home and not on the road. I don't get any of it. It's not for me to understand. That just doesn't make much sense to me. I've never heard of any type of academic restrictions that if I'm them, I just want to get them over with. I would rather just go 6 straight and get it over with and you have them back than just having them at home. Or maybe that was just something he wanted to keep for the morale of the team. I don't understand it, but I think they're just trying to figure stuff out right now. I can't. I don't have anything. I've never heard of it, so I've never seen it. There's nothing to pull this from. There's nothing to draw this upon. So what do we? I mean, what do you base this on? When have you ever seen any one of those two things happen in college basketball? Unless there was a
Yeah,
reason for it. I don't know.
yeah. Jerel, the biggest thing for me is that we've seen I think 3 straight games where Michigan has actually looked pretty good in the first half. They were up 33-21 on Maryland on the road in College Park, which is not the friendliest atmosphere that you're going to find in the Big Ten, right? They're playing in the Palestra. They were up, I believe it was 37-27 on Penn State on the road in that building. And in both those games, they turned around in the second half and just completely uh, I'm trying to think of the way that I can say this without having to the FCC get on us. Let's just say that it was dribbling down their leg, right? It was not pretty. It was not good basketball, and it was completely different than what we saw in the first half. How does that happen?
Yeah, I'm not sure. And obviously, just kind of like what RC said, they got a lot just transpiring right now within the entire program. To be honest, and there's no getting around it. That a lot of the stuff that's going on has to be a distraction for those guys. And then obviously with the suspension to Doug, it just changes their team so much because he was such a pivotal playmaker and such a big part of everything that they did offensively. But even still, like you said, it's kind of been the same the same kind of happening each and every game. They look like a good team in the first half, and then the second half they come out, and they kind of just, they shooting the deuce in the bed a little bit. So it's a little bit concerning, but it's looking like the wheels are completely falling off right now. And it was definitely a tale of two halves tonight against Maryland. They made a couple more shots in the first half and got out to a sizable lead. They were good defensively, and then Maryland got it going, and they started making the threes in the second half, and they couldn't withstand the run.
Yeah, you know what? Let me ask you this, Randolph. When it comes to Jawan Howard, right? Knowing that there's a chance that you might have to be dealing with replacing your football coach that just won a national championship, and knowing that he's dealt with all of the heart issues that he has dealt with, and I don't think that we should minimize that, right? He is coming off of open heart surgery. How do you handle this if you're Ward Manual when you're having some of these suspension issues and you're having uh, what is very clearly a team that is not quite living up to expectations? Like if you're Michigan's AD, what are you doing here?
Well, one, I think he sees. I think we talked about this before too, Rob, as well. this team struggles when the game gets tight because I don't think they got a closer. I don't think they got a guy that they can give the ball to when it matters to say, hey, let me run my offense through you and get you a bucket. As good as Olivier Cromwell's been, he's been a role guy all his life, and then now we're asking him to be the man. And I always say to guys all the time, there's a difference in being on the scouting report and then being schemed. So when you elevate to a point that you're the guy on the scouting report, then teams start scheming you. It's different. And he's in that position now where he's a focus of what teams are trying to do. And I don't think he's ever been that, that guy. He needs help, and this team isn't his talent to do this. So I think even we're going back to the Florida game that went into overtime, they had moments and opportunities. I think that's their biggest issue. They don't have that guy, that closer to help them win some of those close games, for one. To your question about the AD, one, I think that's a serious conversation when the season ends you got to have with Juwan. Only Juwan knows that. I think Juwan is not doing this because he needs money. He loves Michigan and he loves coaching basketball. So if he's healthy enough to do it, I think you put that put that kind of the rumors and everything to bed, and then you just get back to figuring out what we need to do to get Michigan basketball back. I think he's earned that right. So I'm not into any of that BS, and I was getting ready to cuss and say it, but talking about should he be out of a job, because I think that's ridiculous. I mean, if that's the case, then we got to fire every coach that's been at a school for 4 or 5 years that hadn't made the tournament, and he's been there twice, and he's won Coach of the Year. So I do think there's some things you got to address, but he knows that with the team, they need to be better. But I think the first thing and the foremost is, are you healthy enough? Can you do the job? If Juwan feels like he is, then now it's how do we fix it? And then you do your best.
I don't think that you fire him here. I think you need to have a conversation about whether or not he feels he wants to keep doing this and he's healthy enough to do it. Because if it's something where he doesn't have both feet in, you're never going to be able to succeed in this sport with both feet in. Thank you for watching The Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field of 68 content.